And that's a question mark because I can't sit up here and tell you whether or not Devin Brown can throw a football and can move the ball down the field. But, and I have a really big but, you better believe this, here's what I can tell you. Ryan Day and the coaching staff has told the rest of the world that Devin Brown is not better than Kyle McCord. This Ohio State and Missouri game is extremely, and I mean extremely interesting for multiple different reasons. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, you better get hyped up because it is time for the first preview in the entire bowl season, and it is no other than the little bro Ohio State and Mizzou. Man, oh man, I'm hyped up if you can't tell, and the reason I'm hyped up is because we haven't done a preview and it feels like forever. I'm hyped up, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, and bowl season is starting to heat up, and I don't want to disrespect all the other bowls that have been played up until this point, but I haven't been too excited. But now, as when I'm speaking today on the 27th, we actually got some games that I'm looking forward to. I can't wait to watch that Oklahoma State and Texas A&M game. But right now, as when I'm speaking, Virginia taking Tulane. If you're not watching that, or when you see this, it's over. If you didn't watch it, you missed a good one. Or at least as good as when I'm speaking this video. Dude, if you watch that game, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I'm still pissed off, and this just happened, by the way, that Tulane, they punched the ball out of Virginia Tech's quarterback's arms at like the 1, and they didn't overturn it. They gave him a touchdown. That was a clear-cut and obvious turnover. Look, I get they didn't have the right camera angle to overturn it, but that one was so obvious to me. If you didn't watch the game, you have no idea what I'm talking about, and you're sitting there saying, Matt, I don't care. Let's talk about Ohio State and Missouri, and I'm getting to it. And if you're a fan of some other teams, don't worry, because I'm not just going to talk about the Ohio State and Missouri game in this video. We're going to talk about some others. So stay tuned for that. Also going to be giving you my prediction for Oklahoma, Arizona, and NC State, Kansas State, games like that. I think it's safe to say we've got a lot to talk about. The premise of this video is relatively simple. And real quick, before we get into this video, we are trying to hit 310K before a new year, and we are super close. If you want to do your boy Matt a solid, this is the only gift I'm asking of you guys. Just consider subscribing to the channel. It really helps us out. And not just for our channel, but any channel out there. If you have a different favorite YouTuber, subscribe to them. It helps on the channel tremendously. I've jibber-jabbered enough. I hope you guys are excited to get into this video as I am. But all right, Matt, blah, blah, blah. Shut the crap up. Now, further ado, let's get into it. All right, first things first, I'm going to give you my prediction for these two games first, and as when you're watching this video, these games might be currently going on and happening. Louisville and USC, and I haven't even seen the line for this game. Okay, Louisville's a 6.5 point favorite, and Texas A&M, Oklahoma State. Remember, guys, USC does not have Caleb Williams playing in this game, so that's going to be a detrimental loss, but also on the flip side, Louisville, we all saw how pathetic they looked against Florida State. It's going to be interesting because Louisville's offense isn't that good. I'm not going to say they're awful against Florida State. They were awful, but overall they're not pitiful. And for USC, yeah, they had a great offense with Caleb Williams, but without him, I guess we'll have to wait and see. And also remember, USC's backup quarterback, Malachi Nelson, he entered the portal, so they're not going to be using him either. This one's going to be a toss-up like most bowl games are. Louisville is a 6.5 point favorite, which I agree with. I don't have a problem with the line, but here's my problem with this game. I don't trust Louisville, and I don't trust USC. Louisville lost to a bottom feeder in Kentucky, and USC without Caleb Williams, I have no idea what to expect. And Lincoln Riley, he's the biggest fraud in the country. We know this. I originally was going to take USC, but the more I think about it, the more I'm starting to believe that Louisville's offense, even though it's not great, it's still going to put up 30, 40 points on that USC defense. Here's what it comes down to for me. There's more question marks for USC than Louisville. With USC, we don't know what to expect out of their offense or defense. With Louisville, at least we know they got a decent defense. It's not a great defense, but it's decent. I'll give them that. I'll take Louisville in this game. The other game tonight at 8 p.m., I can't wait for this one. We got Texas A&M with Mike Elko, that whole situation, and they got rid of Jimbo. Is Mike Elko even coaching this game? I have no idea. And Oklahoma State. I'm going to be taking Texas A&M in this game just because Oklahoma State, they're not very good. As to how they even made the Big 12 championship still blows my mind. And I know what everybody's saying. Well, Matt, A&M barely has enough guys to play in this game. I get it, but I'm not picking Oklahoma State. Give me A&M. Moving along here, we'll talk about, let's go with two more games. Or actually, let's do these Thursday games, and then I'll save the Friday games for the Georgia preview. SMU and Boston College, give me SMU. Miami and Rutgers, I get it, Miami's not that great, but give me Miami in that one. I'll take the Hurricanes. And what about this? Top 25 matchup, NC State and Kansas State. I like K-State in that one as well. And last but not least, Arizona with Noah Fafito, one of my favorite quarterbacks in the nation, and Oklahoma. This game arguably should be getting its own preview itself, but I didn't think it was that important, and I don't think too many of you care about it that much. You got 9-3 Arizona, and good gosh almighty, they turned it on at the end of the season, and you got 10-2 Oklahoma. Oklahoma's going to be starting a new quarterback, and just due to the fact that Arizona, they're a hot team, that's who I got to roll with. The bowl season it's not exactly the same, but it's similar to March Madness. You got to pick the hottest teams. Arizona's hot, Oklahoma's not. Give me the upset. And to give you some context, if you've been keeping up with the previews and predictions, I picked Arizona to win at least 6 games they weren't supposed to win this year. They have proved me right every single time, so I'm going to continue to roll with them. And it comes down to this. If you don't know Noah Fafita, you're going to know him after this game. Trust me. We'll do the other games when we talk about the Georgia and Florida State preview, because you know that's getting its own separate video. But now finally, moving along to our main topic, our main encore, the main reason you clicked onto this video, we got the little bro Ohio State and Mizzou. Woo! Man, oh man, I can't wait for this game. This game's going to be awesome. Outside the playoff, the 2 games I got circled on my calendar is Missouri-Ohio State, which we're about to talk about, and Georgia and Florida State. This Ohio State and Missouri game is extremely, and I mean extremely interesting for multiple different reasons. Reason number 1 is because you got a team in Ohio State who it's championship or bust. That's how they view it. I don't want to say they don't care about this game because I believe they do, but you know the standard at Ohio State. I don't have to explain it to you. They want to be in the playoff. They want to play for championships. Even if they win this game, it's going to be labeled as a disappointment of a season. Whereas on the flip side for Missouri, completely different viewpoint. They are hyped up for this game. This is a playoff game for Missouri. This is their championship. I remember talking about it in the offseason. I told people a team to watch out for in the SEC East was Missouri. Everybody thought last year when they gave Georgia a hard time at their home stadium, it was a fluke. And I tried to tell people, no, this team's going to be legit. And they proved me right, and that was probably one of my better predictions in the offseason. This game means everything for Missouri. If they win this game, they'll be telling their kids about this for the next 20 years. Whereas, going back to Ohio State on the other flip side, no, they're not going to be telling their kids about this game in 20 years. You got one team who's not exactly excited to be in the game and the other team who's hyped up, and it means everything to them. Another reason why this game is so interesting, at least in my eyes, you got the SEC versus Big Ten rival matchup. We all know this. Big Ten fans hate the SEC because, well, it's simple. The SEC is the best. And if Ohio State loses to Missouri, trust me, they'll never hear their end of it. Ohio State hasn't been too successful outside of that 2014 win against Alabama in the playoff. They haven't been too successful against SEC teams in bowl games. And can you imagine what SEC fans are going to say if Ohio State loses to a team that didn't even make the SEC championship? You know what SEC fans are going to say? They're going to say, oh, well, Ohio State couldn't even beat the 4th or 5th best team in the SEC. So just from a bragging standpoint, this game is huge for the SEC and Big Ten. And that's why I'm invested in this, because as an SEC fan, oh yeah, I'll tell you straight up, I want Missouri to win this game. I wouldn't say I want them to win it badly, but I'm definitely rooting for them. Y'all know this, that's how I roll. I go for all my SEC teams because I think when a team, let's just say theoretically speaking, Missouri beats Ohio State, it makes our conference look that much better. I don't even know what the line is for this game. I'm going to assume, you know, Ohio State does have their backup quarterback. Devin Brown, he'll be the starter. They'll still probably be favored by a couple points. Pulling it up right here, and yeah, Ohio State is favored by 3 points, in which I agree with. I don't know what the count is, but you've probably had up until this point, 10 Ohio State players opt out or transfer? Whereas with Missouri, I don't think any guys are opting out of this game. If you're an Ohio State fan or just a college football fan in general and you don't know too much about Missouri, let me give you the summary. If I were to grade their offense on a scale of 1 to, let's just say 100, I'd give them a 83 overall grade. Pretty good offensive team, but I think against a team like Ohio State, Georgia, and Alabama, they wouldn't score in the 30s. As far as it goes for Missouri's defense, if I had to grade that on a scale of 1 to 100, I'd give them a 78. I think that's more than fair to say, and I hope that gives you some context. And why I'm struggling with this game, and yet again why it's such an interesting matchup, is because I know what I'm going to get out of Missouri, but I don't know what I'm going to get out of Ohio State, on the offensive side at least. Missouri on offense, they love to run the ball, and when they need to pass, they can do that too. They got one of the top quarterbacks in the SEC, in my humble opinion. With Ohio State, as we all know, let's address the elephant in the room, Kyle McCord's gone. And I believe, I haven't double-checked, but Marvin Harrison Jr. is not playing in this game, correct? I haven't double-checked on that, but even if Harrison Jr. was playing, I don't think it helps him out too much. It doesn't matter if you got the best wide receivers in the world. If Devin Brown can't throw a football, doesn't amount to a hill of beans. And that's a question mark, because I can't sit up here and tell you whether or not Devin Brown can throw a football and can move the ball down the field. But, and I have a really big but, you better believe this, here's what I can tell you. Ryan Day and the coaching staff has told the rest of the world that Devin Brown is not better than Kyle McCord. This isn't an opinion from me. This is a cold hard fact from Ryan Day and the coaching staff. They had an open quarterback battle at the beginning of the season, and they came to the executive decision that Kyle McCord is better. So by default, that means Ryan Day thinks Devin Brown is worse than Kyle McCord. Take that how you want, but Ohio State fans, y'all were the ones that was critiquing Kyle McCord the most this year. And I, however, was the one who was taking up for him the most. And even to this day, I will vouch for Kyle McCord. I'll stand 10 toes down on this. I thought he had a pretty good season. But here's the kicker with that, and don't get it twisted. That's not the standard for an Ohio State quarterback. They have to be great or elite, not pretty good or whatever you want to call it. I think most people would say, okay, there's one big X factor in this game, in which I couldn't fault you for saying this. It's Devin Brown. If he has a good ball game, Ohio State will probably win. If he doesn't play good, they'll probably lose. Simple as that. And if you want to say that, I have no problem with that whatsoever, but I'll give you another X factor, so we'll say there's two. Because I think the Devin Brown X factor, that's a little cliche and boring. I think your other X factor in this game is arguably one of the best running backs in the nation. He goes by the name of Cody Schrader. You want to talk about grit. This young man is the definition of grit and hard work. If you don't know his story, look it up. His journey to Missouri just speaks volumes about his character. All throughout his life, he has been the underdog, and all he has done is put in the hard work just to get to this point. He's been the workhorse for Missouri this year, and if he can have run success against that Ohio State defense, I think Missouri wins this game. My magic number, and I'll put it up for you right here, is 150. If Cody Schrader can run for over 150 yards, Missouri wins this game. However, if he doesn't run for 150, you know what I'm about to say, I think Missouri loses. He's got to get to 150. Can he get there? Don't know. Guess we'll have to wait and see. We've seen it the past couple of years. You don't want to get into a shootout with Ohio State. That's what they want. Just take a look at Michigan the past 3 years. How did they beat them? They bullied them. You got to bully Ohio State. You don't want to do what Georgia did last year. They got very fortunate to win that game. You do not want to get in a shootout. Schrader's your X factor, and just due to the single fact alone that Missouri really wants to win this game, they want it badly, I'm taking Missouri to pull off the upset. Calling it right now. When I heard this game was announced, I immediately thought, yep, I'm taking Missouri, and nothing has changed. They want to be there more, and I think they're going to want it more, and that's why they're going to get the job done. I'll take Missouri in this game, no problem whatsoever. Let me give you a final score. Let's go with Missouri 28, Ohio State 24. I think it's going to be close. 28-24. I'm curious. Let me know your thoughts down below. But